today we're going to learn about responding to correction from a teacher or an authority figure. You know what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're working on a piece of paper and I come by to look at it and I say something's wrong, you're not going to flip out. You're going to listen. You're going to soak it in, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my goal for you is to be able to respond to an authority figure or a teacher in a respectful manner 3 out of 4 times. You think you can do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, like I said, the skill is responding respectfully to an authority figure or teacher. Why do you think that's important to be able to respond respectfully?
Because you want somebody to give you respect back.
So if in order to get respect, you need to give it, right? So that goes for your peers, for your teachers, or any type of authority figure, right?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
makes sense. So, I mean, it's important in school. It's important out of school. Do you think it'd be important when you graduate high school and get a job?
Yes,
Why?
because you'll have the boss. You'll have to talk to your boss with respect.
Right. So do you think you can talk to your boss any old way when you graduate high school?
No.
No, you need to be able to speak to them in a respectful manner. So before we do the role play, actually, I want to go over the components and how you're going to respond to a teacher giving you correction, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you know the correct order? Like if a teacher approaches you and says, let me look at your work, and then they attempt to correct you, do you know the correct order?
Just take it and leave it.
Just take it and leave it? All right. So you're kind of close, but it's stuff that you have to ask yourself. So you're going to want to ask yourself, is it an appropriate point during the conversation between you and the teacher to speak? So that's one question. Okay, has the teacher finished talking, or are they in the middle of talking? Then you're going to ask, did you ask if you could speak, or did you just start speaking? Even if the teacher was done speaking, do you automatically blurt, or would you say, Ms. Rowell, can I say something, or I have a question? Does that make sense? You wouldn't just naturally jump into the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else do you think? Have you thought about your answer, and is it on topic? Because if I'm talking to you about your math problem, you're going to want to make sure whatever comes out of your mouth and however you reply to your teacher is in relation to that math problem. And you want to make sure you're saying it respectfully. Because sometimes it's hard to take correction from somebody, right? Because you don't want to get something wrong. You want to be right all the time. But it's not possible. Nobody's perfect. Okay? So you got to think about your answer and how you say it. Even if you think you did it right. Alright? So does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, once you're done saying what you want to say in reply, you always wait to see if the teacher has anything to say. Okay? So that's the component steps. Now, I'm going to do, it's kind of like, I'm going to give you scenarios and you're going to tell me yes or no, that's a good way to respond. Okay? So, this is going to be an example of your response to a teacher. Alright? So, is there a better way for me to do it? Do you think that's an appropriate response to a teacher? Is that respectful?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Alright, what about, I did it once, why do I have to do it again?
No.
Not respectful, right? You shouldn't question. Or you can question, but there's ways to phrase it. Make sense? What can I do to fix my work?
Talk to the teacher.
Right, do you think that's a respectful answer? Like if I told you something was wrong, well, if you said, what can I do to fix my work, is that respectful?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Man, this is stupid, I'm not doing this again.
No.
Not respectful. Okay. I'm really having trouble understanding this, can you help me?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a respectful answer. Okay, thank you for your help.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That doesn't make sense at all.
No, ma'am.
You're crazy. I already did this.
No.
No? Okay, what about not responding at all?
No, ma'am.
No, because if I'm speaking to you and I ask you a question, you should at least generate some sort of response. You have the script that I gave you, so now we're going to do a role play with that script. And this is just an example of a positive way to interact with your teacher when they're trying to correct you, okay? So you're going to read the student, and I'm going to read the teacher, okay? So I've given you your work, and now you finished it, so go ahead.
I'm done with my work.
Alright, let me take a look at it.
Hand the work to the teacher.
Alright. So you're doing well so far, but on number 3, you mixed up order of operations and you subtracted before multiplying.
I'm just so afraid. I thought I was going it right, but I'm not.
Very good. Alright, so let me show you a trick to help you remember.
Okay.
Okay. So do you remember the lesson we did on the board about how to figure out the order of operations, the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and what it stood for, the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, all that good stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's a saying that's going to help you remember the order to do it in, so you won't accidentally do subtraction before division. You don't know, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, if you say that over and over in your head, that'll help you remember. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go ahead.
So this say will help you remember that order. So if I see a problem with more than one operation, I can use this to remind myself of that order to do it in the problem. 2 plus 4 times 5 reminds.
Means.
Means I would do 4 times 5 and get 20, and when added 2 to get 22.
Very good, very good.
Thank you for helping me figure out what I done wrong.
Do you remember the proper ways to accept and respond to feedback and correction?
Yes, sir.
What are they?
It's a
Appropriate.
appropriate time during the
Conversation.
conversation to speak as the teacher doing speaking.
Very good.
Have I asked the teacher if it was okay to speak? Have you thought about your response? It's on topic and respectful. Have you waited to see if the teacher has anything to say in return?
Right, so those are the steps. You did step by step by step for responding respectfully. You've grasped the skill of responding correctly in a respectful manner. We're going to do something called a fluency check, and I have your time trial sheet here. I'm going to give you a social story, which is a situation, and you're going to tell me if it was a correct way to respond or not, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to hit 1 minute, and hopefully we're going to see if we can get them all done within a minute, okay? Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Set, go. All right. So Mr. Warren is done giving his correction to you and asked if you have any questions.
Yes,
So that's a good point for you to interject. Very good. Mr. Warren is talking and showing me where I went wrong. So he's currently talking. Would that be a good time to respond? No. Why not?
Because he talking, he did not ask.
Very good. He did not ask if you had a question. Your teacher is done talking and you've thought about your answer. It's on topic and respectful.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Your teacher is done talking. You have not thought about your answer and what you want to say.
No.
Why?
Because you disrespect her, you didn't know what she was going to say back.
Right. You didn't put thought into your answer. Very good. I want to ask the teacher for help and further clarification. So ask if I can speak.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask the teacher for help and further clarification. So I just start talking.
No.
No? Very good. All right, so now that we've tested your ability to do the skill correctly, doing the time trial, you've already completed your no fair worksheet, so you're already a little bit ahead, which you've done. And then now you're going to have a showing respect worksheet, and this is just going to reinforce what you've already learned, how to respond to the teacher in a correct manner, okay? Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You think you'll be able to complete it tonight and bring it back tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, good job.